everyone, Courtney Zentz here, your accidental business coach. I'm going to take you through today exactly how I create newsletters with videos like this embedded into the system. So jump on and join with me as I show you how to do it. Now, to get started in building a video inside of your newsletter, you're going to need one of two things. First is the place that you send your newsletter out. Very commonly, places like Flowdesk, MailChimp, Constant Contact, or what I'm using here, which is ActiveCampaign, are great systems to send email newsletters out to your list. The second thing you're going to need is a place to house that particular video, because in order for a video to be embedded into a newsletter, it has to live somewhere with the access to a URL. Two of the most common are Vimeo or YouTube that allow you the ability to do this and to load your file and then have a publicly accessible URL. If you use Loom and you either have a free or paid version of Loom, you can do it there as well. I'm going to use YouTube because that's where I have all of my business content. And you'll see here I have a brand new channel where I'm going to load a video, but I'm not going to make the video public. However, I am going to make it accessible for you. Well, what do I mean by that? So the video link is public, but it's not listed on my channel. So if somebody has the URL, they could see the video, but they're not going to find it. So I'm going to take you through after I record this and actually walk through loading it inside of YouTube. So come with me. And finally, you're going to actually need the file that you load onto YouTube. Most of my files I load onto YouTube through either recordings from my phone, where I set my phone up on a tripod and I do a recording or a training, or as I'm doing right now, which is just on my computer using the camera on my Mac. I can then easily edit it off many tools on the phone, or my tool of choice is something called Camtasia, which is something I've used for many years in my business to do all of my video editing and podcasts. So we're inside of YouTube, and your first step is going to be to actually create a piece of content. So in the upper right-hand corner, you're going to select Create and Upload Videos. Here, you're going to select the file based on that particular story or lesson that you're trying to teach today. So here, all I did was take a sample snapshot of the video that I've already put together. It's actually not completed, but for purposes of this, I created a little bit and now I'm recording how I do it because that's the whole point. So here you're going to see when your video is finished and completed, it is going to load into YouTube. You can either add a thumbnail that you create in Canva, or you can use an image from the video as your thumbnail image. I've seen many people do it both ways. I will say, if you're using a thumbnail, it tends to capture people's attention a bit more as to what the video is about, so that they click if it's something that's suggested to them. You have to give it a few minutes for the video to process, and then you're going to write your title and you're going to write your description right here. Now, the URL for the video is actually already done. So the cool part is if your video is a little bit longer, you don't have to wait for it to finish. You can kind of work through your newsletter and then come back and work through the rest of YouTube to make sure your settings are done and live. Now, in this case, you're going to see down here, we have the ability to determine, do we want this to be a part of a playlist? If so, we can create that. If not, we can skip it. And then we automatically will mention who this is made for, kids or not, is there any age restriction, and then what else we want to do when loading this video. So things like captions or an end screen like, hey, click to book a call, you can put right here on the end of the screen. It's going to do a quick copyright check. Shouldn't take 10 minutes, but we'll see. And then we're going to see here is the part that is crucial. You don't want this to be public so everyone can view it, but you want it to be public so people can click on this link like I'm doing for you and watch the video. So here I'm going to click Unlisted. And then I am going to schedule it if I need, or just hit save. And so you'll see this video is now published and ready to go into my newsletter. So now if I was to open that browser over on a separate window, it's going to take me right to that sample video. Everyone, Courtney Zentz. However, I need it to be inside my newsletter. So I've got my newsletter opened. I've got the header and my welcome information, and then I've got to put a video button into the newsletter. So in whatever platform you're using, you're generally going to have different types of content blocks. In this case, we're going to look for the video block and we're going to pull it over to where we want. And you'll see by default right away, it'll say enter the video's URL. Now, if you want to track perhaps if somebody opens and watches the video, I can do that inside my system, but I can't speak for all of your systems. But if I wanted to add an action that was like, hey, they watched this video, they might be a hotter lead, great. You can do all this cool stuff inside ActiveCampaign, which we talk a lot more about in the lab. But here you can see I don't need to do anything with it, so I'm going to delete that step and just hit OK. And then look what happens. Your video is embedded right into your newsletter. Now, I'm a formatting junkie, so I would go in and plan to look at how your formatting is set up. Is everything centered? Is the button right? You can play with all of the different things here to make sure it's set up the way you want it to look. And then right here, you can have everything center aligned. And then you can have maybe some more text down here if you don't need that in your newsletter. This is my template, so you don't have to use it. And then you can just delete the content blocks and get them out of here if you don't need them. And then, whoops, I hit duplicate, not delete. So we're going to delete these guys out of here because maybe they're not necessary inside of the platform. When we're ready to go, we're going to hit next. And then I'm going to send a test to myself and show you what it looks like when it comes. So I hit test and preview, test newsletter. So it's going to come over. It'll do a little spam check. I usually send these to my Gmail account or my Tiny Transitions account. Let's pop over to email and see what it looks like. So here you can see the email. It was delivered to my inbox, and here's what it looks like. And right here, you're going to notice the video is easily accessible. Clients can click and it will open up a browser and immediately begin to play. Hey everyone, Courtney Zentz here, your I hope you found this tactical training helpful. Be sure to check out CourtneyZentz.com for our full suite of offerings and services. I'm your host, Courtney Zentz, the Accidental Business Coach. Have a great day.